When I do my gadget reviews, I like to be up close, personal, intimate. And for my laptop reviews, I like to play with the angles. I like to have the camera a little far back so you guys can see the table and see the laptop. But with this laptop, I want to be up in your face, up in your space. No. Welcome back to Jideani Says. You know, on this channel, we love everything that's stylishly tech or fashionably tech. Nothing is more stylish than the 2019 HP Spectre x360. And is this Spectre or Spectre? I like to say Spectre. It makes me feel, If you're watching this video, you fall into three categories or three segments. One, you're probably a subscriber of the channel and you love all things stylish tech, so I thank you, I appreciate it. Two, you're thinking about upgrading your laptop. You've been thinking about it for some time. You're trying to get some ideas. What do I want to get? What do I have a taste for? What do I need in terms of what I'm trying to do with computing power? And you hop on YouTube, due diligence. Or you fall into that third segment. You either have this laptop or this is the one you've had your eye on for some time. You've been waiting for that price to drop. You hopped on YouTube to find more information about it. You're trying to do your research. You want somebody to get you excited about this laptop, or at least to convince you that this is going to be a great buy. You should be excited. So let's talk about design. Because let's be honest, this will define the legacy of the Spectre line, is the design. HP calls it its gem cut. That's what this nice, well cut corners are, almost like a diamond cut with the diagonal corners. That's exactly what this is. Just look at that. Do y'all see this? Look at this. Look at that. Nothing spells style like you going somewhere, you pull out your laptop, you sit on the table, whether you're at a coffee shop, airport, lounge, it doesn't matter. People see you doing work on this. You're gonna have people asking you about it. Just look at that. All right, so we'll keep talking about beauty and presentation all throughout this review, but let's jump into specs. Configuration I have, of course, is the 16 gigabyte, 512 SSD and storage. It has the NVIDIA 1050 Ti Max-Q design GPU, dedicated 4 gigabytes of RAM, 4K touchscreen. It's very light. It comes in at 2.9 pounds. That's under 3 pounds. Some of you that don't like logging heavy laptops over your shoulder, you will love this. This is lightweight, 2.9 pounds. It has an elongated touchpad as your fingerprint reader. It also comes with a webcam for Hello Windows for facial recognition, so that's cool. Don't get confused with this speaker grill that you see. That is not where the sound comes out from. That's just for decoration purposes. The sound actually comes from these two speaker grills on the bottom. One here and the other one here. You have your vents for your fans to keep the system cool. And once again, this design, the version I have is the gray one. It does come in blue. I can't remember what the blue one is called, but it's part of the configurations that you can set up when you're trying to purchase this laptop. Let's talk about internals. So this laptop comes with Intel's 8th generation i7-8750 6-core processor. What does that even mean? I got you. Don't worry, I got you. Most laptops are either dual or quad core. Core just means a part of a brain. So you know CPU means central processing unit, which is the brain of the computer, which is synonymous with processor. If you have, more than likely, you probably have a dual core or quad core sitting at home. Your computer or your laptop is more than capable. Don't feel any type of way. Computers are starting to come out with 6 cores, octa cores, hexa cores, which this is. Core basically means, like I said, a brain. So imagine if you had 2 or 4 brains, how productive would you be? Same thing with laptops. The more core, the more power efficient the laptop is, the more powerful, of course. But keep in mind that cores also means more money. So this one is running 8750. It's Intel's 6-core processor. If you are a A light gamer, if you do photo edits with Photoshop, you do 4K video edits, you watch 4K content, this laptop is more than willing, and it will definitely do. Now for you heavy gamers out there, you play a lot of games, you're heavy on graphics, you do a lot of visual editing, including 4K editing, you do 3D animation and rendering, this may not be a laptop for you. And that's because this comes with NVIDIA's 1050 Ti Max-Q design. It's a dedicated GPU with 4 gigabytes of RAM. More than enough for the everyday folks. But if you are a heavy gamer and you fall into that second bracket that I spoke about, you probably need a GPU that's a little bit more powerful, maybe 6 gigabytes of dedicated RAM to basically handle what you need it to do. The performance is great. The design is great. I have the rest of the specs either up on the screen or I have it in the description for you guys. Let's talk about ports. It comes with 2 USB Type-C Thunderbolt ports. So you can use this to hook up your external GPU if you need more computing and processing imaging power. That's there for you. USB Type A, which is your legacy port. Now I do wish that HP would have included an additional legacy port on here. I get it. When you start making laptops with this thin of a chassis and this light, you don't have a lot of room to add more components. I do get it, but I would have liked HP to have squeezed in another one in there, so that way you don't have to deal with dongles and adapters. You have your webcam off and on button to turn on your webcam. Mini SD card port. This is another area where I was tad bit disappointed. I do wish that HP would have gone with its big brother, which is the full SD card slot instead of the mini, but that's not a big deal. You can buy an adapter to then utilize that. All right, other side. Headphone jack, HDMI port, charging port, and your power button. I love the location of this power button. I don't have to ever worry about accidentally hitting it and turning something off. So that's that. But yeah, look at that. But let's talk about cons, because there are cons. It's the most beautiful laptop in the world, but this is where the but comes in. Few of the cons are not deal breakers. First con are the speakers. These speakers are Bang & Olufsen's powered speakers, but they don't sound like them. They get kind of muffled, especially when you start hearing those mid to high tones. You start hearing that crackle a little bit that is kind of synonymous with a lot of laptops that are out there. So I'm not a big fan of them. It could be a deal breaker to you, or you might be one of those people you don't even listen to audio that loud. You probably tune it down and have it at the 60 or the 70%. So it may not bother you. Me, I like to have it at 100%. So I definitely did notice a difference. Brightness is con number 2. The brightness on this laptop isn't very high. I think you guys need to know that. For some of you all, it doesn't matter. It only goes up to 237 nits, either 237 or 273. Either way, it's below the standard, which is about 327 nits. Other competitors go all the way up to 400 nits, 500 nits. Like I said, it may not be a deal breaker for you, but there has been times where I have caught myself really hitting that brightness increase button, thinking that maybe, I accidentally turned it down. Especially it's noticeable when you're in a well-exposed area or you're out in pure daylight, there's a lot of sun. You'll notice that there's a difference in the brightness. Battery, which is important. You probably may want to know, how does this thing do with battery? So keep in mind, this comes with a 15.6 inch 4K OLED display. That takes a huge toll on the battery. I'm getting anywhere between 3 and 5 hours using this laptop on this full resolution. Good news though is, if you're not visually oriented like I am, you don't really care too much about the small details and the sharpness, you can bump the resolution of this laptop down to the 1080p and you can get way more hours. I'm talking 8-9 hours of battery time. This is where the but of this video really comes in, the touchpad. Let me be first to say that I'm not a touchpad person. I'm team mouse. Matter of fact, anything more than 30 minutes of using the touchpad, I tend to go nuts. So if I'm in a tight space or tight corner and I'm forced to use it, I'm not a big fan of using it, but it has to work. Here's the problem. HP opted for Synaptics driver to power this touchpad instead of Windows precision drivers. Windows designed and optimized their precision touchpad to work with laptops that utilize their software. So it's more accurate, it's more precise, it's more reliable. Synaptics is not. Once again, I don't care. As long as it works. Because most of the times, I'm mouse all the way. But I've been experiencing issues with this touchpad. I pretty much just assumed, you know what, maybe, just maybe, it's that, you know, Synaptics touchpad and people are complaining they don't like, maybe it's it. So maybe I'll just swap it out. I'll install Windows precision drivers and it'll fix the problem. I did that, it didn't work. I reached out to HP and they said that those drivers wouldn't work with this laptop. So I'm just hoping that this is a defective device. I reached out to HP, they said they'll send me a replacement. So I'm hoping that that's the issue, because that would be a complete deal breaker for even someone like me who don't use touchpads. I'm like I said, I'm a mouse person, but once in a while, I like to rely on it. With that said though, with the performance that comes with this laptop in any configuration that you get, the 15.6 4K touchscreen, the build, the presentation, it is just an absolute beast of a device for you to get. Probably the only criticism I have in terms of design is these bezels. In 2019, laptops are going for smaller bezels. HP, you guys probably could have reduced this bezels and got more on-screen real estate. There's just no need for these thick bezels. But I think I know why they did it. If I go into tablet mode, which this laptop does, haha, I think HP did this to, if you turn this thing vertical, they did this to reduce accidental palm input. So it makes it a little bit more comfortable for you to hold it. And that's the only thing I can think of why they did it. But outside of that, I would have liked to see them go a little bit thinner. This laptop, holding it in this tablet mode, I haven't used this feature as much as I thought I would. And it's a part of something about having these keys on the bottom, constantly pushing on them is distracting me. Once you go into tablet mode though, these keys are rendered disabled. So nothing that you hit on these keys affects what's actually on display. So that's the good news. But still, there's something about hitting the keys, hitting the buttons on the touchpad while you're holding this device. It's just not organic. It's not really natural for me, so I might not rock with it. I don't know about you, but so I haven't really kind of used this in the tablet mode as much. But it does come in handy a lot of times when you're in a tight place. You want to use it to take notes, or you want to watch something like on Netflix or on YouTube. Boom, it turns into one device, hence that two-in-one device, and then you can use your touch pen. So this laptop comes in this leather pouch, really nice. I love the quality. The only criticism I have, I would have liked for this pouch to come with an over-the-shoulder belt for convenience purposes, so that way you don't have to tuck this thing up underneath your armpit, but I'll take it. Glad that they added it. Touch pen. HP, I have to commend you guys for that, because a lot of their competitors don't even include a touch pen. You got to get it separately, and these touch pen, they can run 80 to 100 bucks. So I'm glad that they added this in here. But this is something else I don't use as much as I thought I would use. If you're one of those people who you're big on creative work, taking notes, jotting things down, drawing things, sketching things out, you'll find this a lot more handy than I do. This touch pen is not as pressure sensitive as some of the other touch pens. Sometimes you do have to add more pressure than is really required so it can register that input. Not a big deal. Latency is not bad. As you write, it would kind of record your gestures and translate it into letters and numbers. So the latency is not bad. It's a pretty nice pen. This is just one of those laptops. You go into a coffee shop, a lounge, airport, library. Doesn't matter where you are. You just pull it out and pretend like you're doing work. Just pretend. Just sit there You may even have the screen the wrong way and just be like, is the stock market up by 20%? Oh, I'm sorry. Is the stock market up by 20%? I love that HP thought about the meticulous details that make this laptop what it is. From the Stonehenge tight hinges that don't wobble. Because a lot of times you will have issues with that on other laptops where it's wobbly and it's not as stiff or it's too loose. Like I said, the performance on this thing is pretty good considering what you can get. If you can get up to 6 cores on a laptop this thin, that's a beast. It runs pretty quiet. You can still hear it though. It's not the quietest fans in the world, but I don't care. I don't care about fan noise. Some people do. It's not really an issue for me. Those are the cons that I have: is the speaker, the brightness, the touchpad, obviously. Bezel is a small one. Ports, I would like to have seen more versatility in the port department. Battery consumption, but those are all minor. The biggest one would be that touchpad. This is why I need your help. If you have this laptop and you are experiencing the same touchpad issues, let me know. Or maybe you're not. Maybe I really do have a defective unit. That's what I need to figure out. Or maybe you have this laptop, you have this issue, but it's not a big deal for you because you're a 90% team mouse. It'll definitely decide whether I fully recommend this laptop as the laptop to get, or I say wait on it until HP releases some firmware update to address it. HP has done a hell of a job with this laptop. I'm a big fan of what they're doing, and I hope HP continue making laptops that are visually enticing, add with functionality and performance, and you're always gonna have a winner. But one thing we do know for sure, at least on this channel, this is the most beautiful laptop in the world. Well, there you go. That wraps up the review. So let me know what you think. Is this the one that you'd been waiting for? The one you had your eye on the entire year, waiting for those prices to go down? Or did you have your eye on something else? It'd be cool to know what that laptop is. Drop down some of those responses in the comments, and I will see you guys on the next one.